Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Really excited to have Vistage Chair Dave Handorf with us today. Dave, can you hear me okay?
Yes, Paul, I can hear you fine.
Great. Well, thanks for being here. And we were talking a bit offline about the value of belonging to Vistage, which is an incredible organization, and in particular, the great work that you are doing with your group. So I'd like to ask you, tell us a bit about the value of Vistage, and then let's get into your group a bit, the makeup of the group and what you're focused on and the value you're providing.
Okay, sure. One of the big benefits of being a member of a Vistage group is being able to use a team of 10 to 12 or 14 CEOs, presidents, business owners as a sounding board to bounce off decisions that are critical to your company, decisions that will make a difference to the overall performance. And you get a lot of feedback from people that have faced similar decisions, people that have a different background than you, and so they have a different approach to solving those problems or dealing with the ramifications of a decision gone wrong.
Well, and I've heard you say before in some of our discussions that it's lonely at the top for these owners. Why is that? And how does your group help with the loneliness an owner may be facing? What is that all about?
Well, the loneliness comes from a natural thing that happens in a firm, in a company. Everybody has a bias that provides, anyone that provides the advice to the top leader, the CEO or the owner, they've got a bias. If you just think about it for a minute, it makes sense. If they're employees, if they're customers, if they're suppliers or investors or board of directors, they all want to see something happen with respect to the company. Not everybody has the same bias, but they do have a bias. And so the top leader has to sort out what the bias is when he takes into account advice. Well, with this group, you have a group of people that are very experienced in the things you're doing, and they only have one bias, and that is to make you more successful. So you have the opportunity to listen in to some sage advice and not be concerned about what is it that they want from the advice that they're giving.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and it's amazing. I always am surprised to hear for owners who have all these people around them that they're lonely at the top and they can't really go to people around the company. But I've got a vision in my head of then what happens when they go to your group. So when owners get involved with you, are people in your group and are you rolling up your sleeves, digging in, and are people candid about problems and issues they have, and are the real weighty issues being addressed in the groups?
Yes, in fact, the main focus of our get-togethers as a group is to work on our business, not in our business. That is.
What does that mean? What exactly does that mean?
Well, it means we're not solving problems that have to do with the finance department or the marketing team. We're having focus on how's the overall business going? What needs to improve to meet the goals for this year? A much more global perspective than a daily routine of solving issues that are, I would call routine, right, and not overall impact to the company. So that's the focus of the group. And if you look at what people are willing to talk about, they quickly develop trust, and they develop trust through meaningful activities and feel comfortable in a short period of time to talk about the most difficult challenges or biggest opportunities they and their company have. They're willing to share that with the other group members. And what it takes is trust, and that's one of the focuses of the chair and the group with each new member, is to build trust.
Love it. Yeah, I can understand how that works. And you yourself, Dave, have had a very successful career leading high growth companies in Silicon Valley. And what is your role with Vistage?
Well, my role in this function is to facilitate the team and to coach the individual members one-on-one. I do that every month, and we have monthly meetings, and I facilitate the activities, and I contribute just like one of the members in the meeting.
So you're going to their office for the one-on-ones typically?
Typically, I either do that or we meet at a restaurant if the member prefers. It's usually pretty intense in that we dig into what's going right, what's going wrong, what's keeping the member up at night, and how can I help resolve, how can the group help resolve the most difficult issue that the member is facing. And it is really a couple of those sessions, and every new member feels, I think, that number one, I've got their back, and number two, the group is an organization, is a team that can be trusted.
How long are those one-on-ones that you do?
Oh, they're typically 2 hours. They can go longer or they can be shorter, depending on just exactly what the topic is and how detailed we need to get that particular day.
Do you have a topic that's pre-decided upon before you walk in there, or is it just wide open?
It's wide open. I always send a meeting notice, and I include in it a list of questions that really help the member think through what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, both personally as well as professionally. So they kind of jog their memory a few days before we meet by going through those questions. However, many times there's just one predominant question, and we make progress 1 month, and the next month we tackle it again and make more progress.
Right, right. And then when you have those one-on-one sessions, is it about problem solving? Is it also focused on kind of big picture planning, or do you get more into the nitty gritty in those one-on-ones on specific issues within the company?
Both occur. It's the one-on-ones intend to go where the important factors say this is really worth the time spent. Sometimes it's an individual in the leadership team that's not performing well, and so we spend time on the details there. Other times it's overall company culture, maybe company performance, so much broader topics, much broader perspectives, but it's in the mind of the member, it's the most critical thing on their plate that particular point in time.
Are there specific types of leaders that you bring the most value to, or industry groups? Where's the best match?
Well, the best match I've found is people that want to grow both personally and professionally. They're excited about their company's opportunities, and it doesn't matter what industry. We are open to every industry that you can imagine, and the more industries we get, the better the feedback is, because it comes from different angles. So the only problem that we have is if people are not really that motivated about their business, they probably don't belong in a group.
Right.
Otherwise, as long as they're excited about what they're doing and they're really fired up to make things happen, both for themselves, their families, as well as for the company and the employees and the customers, that's the perfect marriage.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because it's not just the business that you focus on. You've told me that really it's some of the personal stuff comes up where you're helping people to figure out the work-life balance, because for an owner, since they own the business, their personal life is integrated with the business. And so would you confirm that's a big focus for your group, is handling both sides of it?
Yes, of course. That is a big focus. The one of the questions that always comes up is, well, how's this business issue impacting you at home? And therefore help the member deal with the ramifications of a very difficult problem in the business and not having it impact their family life.
Right.
So there's a lot of discussion around those kinds of issues that drift out into the community that the member lives in when he's outside of his office.
Right. And I thought as we get to the end here, I wanted to ask you this question about as great is that when you're out there meeting people, what you're offering to do is to have a one-on-one complimentary coaching session with them. I think you said it's about 90 minutes long, where you will offer your time and give them a taste for how it works and your background, and you get a chance to learn about their business. Tell us about that. Is that's a good experience, a good way to start out?
Yes, I highly recommend that I have that type of meeting with every potential member. Just number one, to get to know one another and make sure there's a fit from that standpoint, that we can communicate well together. But more importantly, that they can get a glimpse or an idea, a strong idea of the value of having someone like myself with my background in both being a CEO as well as being the chair and facilitator of a group of CEOs and owners, help them identify some of the major challenges and help them identify a roadmap to solve those issues. And I think that valuable discussion gives both of us the opportunity to say, yeah, there's a really good fit here, there's a lot of value, and that the potential member can also be very strong in contributing to the other members of the group.
Right. I think it's an incredible offer for you to offer 90 minutes of your time to be a sounding board. Great. Dave, fantastic information. Really appreciate you coming on, and we'll have you on again. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Paul. I really enjoyed it.